Armstrong and defenseman Olli Määttä to discuss Olli's 3-year contract extension. Please state your name and affiliation before asking your question. Let's start with Belle Fraser with the Salt Lake Tribune.
Belle Fraser, Salt Lake Tribune. Bill, just what went into the thinking of it? Why did you want to keep Määttä around for 3 more years?
Well, he's a good D-man. And I sleep a lot better, and I know Coach does too when Olli's in the lineup. So he's been impressive. I've had the chance to watch him for a long time since back. I think the first time I saw him, he was an underage, and then into London, and just the way that he plays, he's an elite defenseman at what he does. And you could see that. We were going through some injury trouble. I talked to Stevie Yzerman in Detroit, and he said we get the deal done. And I told Olli this the other day. It's like win the lottery for us. How excited we were to have him come on board and be a part of our organization. And we were going through a tough time because we'd lost some of our key D, and he jumped in and just took hold of the reins. And the spot that we're in, competing for a playoff spot today, is because of him. He put the team on his back and jumped in there and played a huge role for us. So for us to sign him, I think it helps this organization take a step forward in the right way. And, you know, it's a reward for us in the sense that he's come in and done exactly what we've asked. Just a little bit about him as a person, and I've known this for a long time, since back in the days when he was in London. His work ethic, his leadership, his professionalism is some of the best in the business. And, you know, the other day I think we were in Ottawa. I went in for a late workout, and there he was stretching, ready, preparing for the night before. So we couldn't ask for someone that's a better role model inside our organization. We're extremely excited today to be able to sign him.
Cole Bagley with KSL Sports. Olli, you've been here just a short time, but, you know, what helped you get to a point that you wanted to be here for an extended period?
Well, I think I've said this multiple times. I feel like the time, like right away when I got here, you could feel it. I've obviously talked to guys who've been here before, and they rave about how good the locker room is here, how good the organization is now, and I think right when I got here, you can feel it. It's a first class organization. I think doesn't feel like it's a first year thing at all. It's always been going the right way. We got the keys in here to succeed, and I think what's the most impressive for me is how much guys want it in that locker room. I think it's been showing lately. Obviously, you go through ups and downs, but especially when it comes to this tough stretch and important stretch, I think the want and the will, and like how willing they are to check their egos out of the door, and everybody's doing that. I think it just shows how much guys care, and it's pretty incredible to be a part of that.
Brogan Houston from Deseret News. Olli, first, congratulations. And second, just can you speak on how far you've come this year? I know in Detroit you were, healthy scratch a couple of times, maybe not playing as big of a role as you are here. And now all of a sudden you're a top 4 defenseman. You played a huge role for Finland in the Four Nations, and you've just been, incredible, like Bill said. Can you speak on kind of what changed from Detroit to here?
Yeah, that's a good question. Obviously, as an individual too, you go through tough times and you go through good times too. And I think my mindset's always been like don't look too much forward or too much back. I think just the work you put in every day and just trying to get better and what can you do that day to get a little bit better and work in a game. I think good things come that way. Just don't get too ahead of yourself or too down on yourself if things don't go the right way, if things don't go well. You just focus what you can, change, and that's all you can really do. And I'm obviously really happy. There was a time when I heard I got traded here. It's never easy. And it's always shocking, but honestly, a couple of days after that, I knew I was in a good place, good organization. I think from the owners down, Bill, to the coaches, I think they put guys in right places to succeed, and I think I got to be pretty thankful for that.
Cole Bagley with KSL Sports. Olli, I'm just curious, you're a guy that's won Stanley Cups before. What potential do you see in this organization, and how do you intend on, being a veteran presence to the room and helping this organization, reach the, new heights?
Yeah, I think that's always a tough question. It's like, when you ask about what are you gonna do to lead, but you don't really change anything. We got a lot of good personalities in the room, and you just be yourself. I think that's the biggest thing. You let others be themselves too. There's, like I said, there's a lot of will, there's a lot of want. I think guys really want to win and really want to take that next step. And like I said, I'm really happy to be part of it.
Ryan Miller, KSL.com. Bill, you said that you felt like you won the lottery. So I'm curious, was this long-term extension kind of the plan when you made that move, or did he kind of play himself into a contract this year?
That's a good question. When you're originally putting things together, you just want to see the fit of it. I think one of the advantages that you have is when you have guys come in during the course of the year, you kind of see do they fit in your environment? Do they work with coach? Are they what you kind of project for the future of where the team's moving? And I think Olli answered all those questions. He not only fit into the culture, he's helped drive the culture. And that's a big thing for us. We're fourth year into the build, and here we go. And now we've got a piece around it that shows up every day, works as hard as he can, gets a little bit better, and puts it out on the line when we need a big win. He sacrifices his body and everything else about his game to help the team win, and that's a huge thing for us. So by pulling the trade earlier in the season, getting to work with him and see what he's like, it was a no-brainer for us to give him that extension.
Val Fraser, Salt Lake Tribune. Bill, just how does this extension maybe impact the way you look at other contracts on the back end, or what you need or don't need for the D group going forward?
It's good. Another good question. Well, I got to. We looked at him in the summer. We had no defensemen. I think Dursey and Kess were like the only guys, and so I remember doing the analytics and having him. We'd like to get him one day, So it turned out we got him a little bit quicker. As far as planning for the future, I think we're in our core. Our young players are coming back, so we're trying to build around them. And as Olli said, he tries to get a little bit better every single day. And as the hockey ops, we try to come together and get better and make the team better every day, and look at every different option of adding new contracts, or should we re-sign somebody. So I think it all plays itself out as the season comes to an end here. But for us, there's some guys still we want to get signed on the team that are free agents. So we're still looking at all those options.
Bill, nearly every guy that you've acquired or signed this year has been a Stanley Cup champion in the past. What has that done for this group to kind of help the young players along?
Well, confidence comes from a source, and I think the more players that you have that have won it, have been through the grind, and they understand the process of getting there, the better off you are. And you got to remember, those guys that have won cups are around, the Coolies and the Gunthers and the McBains and the Doans of the world. So those guys get tremendous confidence from being around guys like Olli that have won 2 championships, and it's something that they look at him and go, hey, that's the way he prepares. I got to prepare just as hard. They have great influence over our younger players, and hopefully by adding the champions that we did to this organization will get us to the playoffs in this chase, but will also breed our younger players to have a higher standard to reach for, and that standard is winning the Stanley Cup.
So you've got a lot of young defensive prospects up and coming, Lamoureux, Simashev, just to name a few. What things about Olli do you hope kind of rub off on them?
Consistency of how he plays when he's at his best. That's a lot of nights. You'll see his A game, you'll see his B game. Very rarely do you ever see his C game, and that's consistency that you need to be a team that gets into the playoffs. I think the way that he plays leads our team a lot of nights. He's just, since he's come in here, he's probably felt the love from us because we needed him. And when he's walked in the door, he's jumped into that role and exceeded it. So we're really excited about the future.
Val Fraser, Salt Lake Tribune. Olli, you mentioned being kind of shocked when you got traded. Now that you've been able to settle, know you're going to be here for the next 3 years, what does that do mentally, and kind of what are the next steps away from the rink, just life-wise, being able to have some stability here?
I don't think anything really changes because like we're in a big stretch here. I think since the break I feel like we've taken the next step in our compete, and it's just the way we approach games, and I think it's been fun. I think even the last game we lost, we had it just felt like a playoff game, and I think guys are enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying it. It's a fun time to be a part of it. Obviously, signing that contract, it does put a pressure on you, but I think that's a privilege in a way, that you're playing in NHL. Somebody trusts you and has confidence in you, and they're going to deliver. But at the same time, I don't look at it as a bad thing. You like that. You definitely not a lot of when you look back, not a lot of people, especially growing up, can have that privilege that we have nowadays. So it's a luck, and it's a lucky thing that we can be in a place we are right now.
Any more questions? Thank you, Bill and Olli, very much.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.